Hi, beautiful beings. I want to share a little around conscious relationships. It is such a curious space because it's really incredibly complex. Really, relating to self is hard enough, yet relating to another in a conscious way is really challenging. And I just wanted to share something around the paradigms we're working in on the planet in terms of relationship. Within the traditional structure of relationship, in a formal commitment like marriage or long term monogamy, we have these energetic structures that we are signing up for and the programs around those. And in many ways, they're actually anti-supporting relationship because, and this may sound a little radical, but I'll try and explain what I mean. In securing that level of commitment, we are in some ways favoring and putting on a pedestal the relationship beyond our sense of self. So the primary focus becomes that experience within the relationship. And we look then to the other person to fulfill so many of our emotional, physical, and even spiritual needs. But what happens within that structure is that the pressure that builds within that space of reliance and codependence on each other to fill the gaps, we begin to feel a sense of deeper and deeper emptiness within self. And then we turn further to our partner, we demand more, we become more frustrated, we become more disconnected because really the paradigm we're setting up is false. That other person cannot meet your needs, not even half meet your needs. They can meet you when your needs are met, but they can't meet your needs. So the program around that level of relationship is ultimately false. What we really need to be focusing on in these relationships is how connected am I in the now to myself? What needs of mine do I need to fill independently? How full am I in terms of my need for connection, my need for intimacy, my need for spirituality, my need for physical expression? And how much of that can I take the responsibility of filling for myself as a sovereign being who is completely connected in to my own worth, to my own power, and to my own well-being in love, in a full amount of self-love. And this is where we move from this idea of that being selfish to what I like to call self-full. How can you become self-full in the moment? And instead of turning all your attention externally to receive that, how can you turn inward and become generating from within, finding ways to fill those needs without relying externally? Because what you're doing then is you're creating magic. You're creating this incredible sense of wholeness within your own being and responsibility and trust in yourself. Then when you choose to show up in relationship, you have this sense of clarity and sense of freedom because you're just there then to enjoy the experience and co-create with that person from an experience of wholeness. And the demands on the relationship lessen, and there is a spaciousness that's made. So then you can step in and be like, wow, what do we want to experience together? How do we want to play on the planet together? How do we want to co-create something amazing together? And how do we want to do that from our sense of wholeness? And often that takes, to get to this point, it takes a deal of bravery, a bravery to cut the bond and to separate slightly, to reclaim your wholeness and your oneness independent of the relationship. That feels scary because we do get a sense of security of being in the relationship. Yet it's false, and it actually will make you feel these feelings of lack if it's your only point of filling your cup. So be brave. Take the time out for yourself to discover new ways to fill your own needs and to discover ways not necessarily reaching for other people, but reaching within. How can I be intimate with myself? How can I nurture myself? How can I listen deeply to myself and my needs? How can I take that time instead of running and just sit and cultivate my essence and my energy? How can I bask in something about myself that I really love? So when you take those moments of deep connection, then you have the potential of inner expansion. And that's really attractive, right? Like that's hot. That's hot to your partner. When you turn up and you're like, you know what? I'm good. I'm whole. I'm loving my life. And I want to share that with you. Let's go play. Let's have fun. Let's experiment. Let's create. Let's go wild. Let's love that. And then there's also a space for that tenderness, right? Of, hey, I really would love to share where I am in the journey, in the moment with you. Not because I'm needing reassurance or reliance on you, but because I want to bring you in on an intimate level of where I am. So that could sound like, hey, I've just had this incredible realization about this part of myself, and I'd really love you to hear it. Are you open to hearing it? And allowing them the space to choose to hear it or create a time to hear it. And then allowing you to share, and then inviting them to maybe give you some feedback on what they heard. So you could ask, how did that land for you? What did you hear me say? How do you feel like that might feel for me? What are you feeling into that space with me? How does it feel for you? And you can have that deep, rich connection that comes from that personal exploration that you're willing to share. That's intimate, right? That's loving. That's not like, hey, I've got this huge problem, I'm going to dump it on you, you're going to solve it for me, or you're going to create some space of false reassurance so that I can get on with my day. And I'm going to emotionally feed on that. It's not that. It's, hey, I've come to this moment. I want to bring you in. Do you want to come in first? What does it feel like coming in? And wow, it's beautiful. Hey? So I invite you, honor yourself, love yourself, and love is yours. Be love, be well. You're not alone.